So everybody, my name's Harry James. Plenty of action to choose from on the boob tube this week. In conference play in the Big 12, highlighted by, who you would think would be the upper echelon of this conference, Oklahoma. We'll have a heavyweight fight with Nebraska. That game will be played in Norman. And Iowa State trying to bounce back from their regularly seasonal loss to Iowa, trying to bounce back at UNLV, played at a neutral site game in Las Vegas. Nationally, Alabama, Florida is one on there that I'm looking at. South Carolina, our old buddy from Oklahoma, Shane Beamer in South Carolina will be at Georgia trying to keep that thing rolling. Chip Kelly on prime time with Fresno State. All the picks, all the time. We got you covered. Next, Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't go away. Welcome back to my selection show, everybody. My name's Harry James. These are my picks, people. So don't take my picks to Vegas. Or you can count on them. But if you do and you win, you owe me some of the dough. I'm just kidding. Just use it however you feel necessary. Now the joking and the kidding's gotten out of the way. Let's do some picking. The Big 12 picks, at least Big 12 wise, at least we should say, this week start in Norman at 11 on Saturday, because there are no midweek games this week inside the Big 12. So 11 a.m. game, there's two of these. My Sooner Boomers host the revival-ing of the game of the century from 50 years ago, from 1971. They renew the rivalry with Nebraska on the 50-year anniversary. That game will be in Norman between Oklahoma and Nebraska, and it's on Big Fox. Maybe that rivalry doesn't intrigue you. What about this rivalry, guys? The battle for Virginia. Or at least a battle between Virginia Tech when they go on the road at West Virginia. Fest 1. I'm taking Big Mo in Morgantown and West Virginia. Awkward time to kick off the Skylar Thompson train. That's not trawling anymore. Prayers go out to him, though. But the rest of the Kansas State Wildcats will have to play Nevada, the University of Nevada, at Kansas State. As you talked about, this game is at 1:05 in the afternoon, and it's on Big 12 Plus or the Big 12 Now Network. Also, the Big 12 Now Network we'll have the first regular season conference game of the year at 2:30 between Baylor, and they will be on the road at Kansas on Big 12 Now, ESPN Plus. I'm taking Baylor. 6 p.m. the nightcap for Big 12 Now / ESPN Plus. What about Florida International at Tech? That's Texas Tech and the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders in this one. The nightcap, there's 3 more games that are in the prime time cap, and they include a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9:30 kicks. First one is at 7 o'clock, and it is Rice trying to beat Texas and had Texas a second consecutive loss. Don't think it'll happen, though. The game will be played in Austin, and it's on the Longhorn Network. You go from one rival, at least if you're Oklahoma, to the other rival. This game will be on at 8 o'clock, and it's the rival of Boise State. They are at the Broncos of Boise State. That game's on Fox Sports 1. I'm going with with Boise, just in the favor of the blue turf. If the game was played in Stillwater, I'd like Stillwater, but late game, long fight for the Cowboys. A little inconsistent with the quarterback stint there in Boise, or there in Stillwater, I should say. All that being said, I'm going with Boise. The final one, at least in Big 12 play, this game will be played at the Raiders' new stadium in Vegas, and it is Iowa State at UNLV at the new Raiders Stadium. This game will be on Fox or CBS Sports Network. I think that the Cyclones are going to bounce back in this one. I really hope that they don't let the Iowa loss hurt them, or they think about it, because if they play that card, UNLV is a good team, and at home, they can beat you if you're not ready. That is all the Big 12 games. Now let's take a look at the national landscape in college football. The Thursday nights, TNF, Thursday Night Lights, in Louisiana, Ohio, at Louisiana, ESPN, 7 o'clock on Thursday. I'm taking Louisiana. So that's it for Thursday. Friday, though, a little deeper. 6:30, Central Florida at Louisville on ESPN. I'm going with Louisville. At 8 o'clock, you'll have on Fox Sports 1, that is, you will have Maryland at Illinois. I'm taking Illinois on Fox Sports 1. So that's the midweek games this week for the TV broadcast, that is. The national landscape takes a long look like this. 11 a.m. first game is out the docket. What about this one for an 11 a.m. right at the docket game? New Mexico at A&M. Texas A&M, that is. SEC Network. I'm taking the Aggies. Cincinnati at Indiana. I'm taking Cincinnati. Also, Michigan State at Miami. I'm taking the Hurricane. Those two games will be on ESPN or ABC, respectively. The other game will be on the other network. Speaking of playing that card, ESPN2 and ESPNU are doing the same thing. ESPN2 will either have Coastal Carolina at Buffalo. I'm taking Coastal Carolina. Or Bowling Green at Temple. I'm taking Boston College. Again, ESPN2, ESPNU, vice versa. These next are on ESPN Plus, so there's no vice versa here. We know what these games are going to be. Like Tennessee Chattanooga at Kentucky. Mark Stoops. Mark this one off for Mark for the W. The battle for Missouri. Southeast Missouri State at Missouri. ESPN Plus. I'm taking Missouri. Also ESPN Plus for Chat and Kentucky. ESPN3 will have Western Michigan at Pittsburgh. I'm going with Pitt. ACC Network, Alabama State at Circles. I'm going with the Qs on the ACC Network. And the Big Ten Network, NIU, that's Northern Illinois at Michigan. I'm taking the Fighting Horseballs of Michigan. That game's on the Big Ten Network. Also, at the 11 a.m. slot, one final one. Connecticut at Army, CBS Sports. I'm taking Army. Now the noon kicks. What about Minnesota at Colorado State? Pac-12 Network. Give me the Gophers of Minnesota, don't you know? 1:30, Purdue. Oh, Purdue. Oh, Purdue. At Notre Dame. NBC, 1:30. I'm taking the Irish of Notre Dame at 1:30. 2:30s slots. What about Alabama and Florida in the swamp? I'm taking this game will be on CBS, but I'm taking Alabama. Wouldn't surprise me though if Florida were to win it in the swamp. Next game on their docket, ESPN, ABC or ESPN respectively. ABC, ESPN will have either Florida State at Wake Forest. I'm taking Wake Forest. Or Georgia Tech at Clemson. I'm taking Clemson. The other game will be on the other network. ABC or ESPN, respectively. Next one down, Fox Sports 1. Our old buddies of Tulsa at the Ohio State University. That game will be played on Fox Sports 1 at 2:30. Also, USC and Washington State. That game will be on Big Fox right after our game between Oklahoma and Nebraska. I'm taking Southern Cal. Big Ten Network will have Kent State at Iowa. Big Ten Network taking Iowa. CBS Sports Network will have SMU at Louisiana Tech. I'm taking Tech, Louisiana Tech, that is. Eastern Michigan at University of Massachusetts on the Full Network. I'm taking Eastern Michigan. And ESPN Plus will have Long Island at Miami of Ohio. I'm taking Miami of Ohio. Also, ESPN Plus will have Elon at Appalachian State. I'm taking Appalachian State. They will not have, though, but you can still watch ESPN3.com and watch Bryant at Akron. I'm taking Akron. 3 o'clock. Georgia Southern at Arkansas. Arkansas. SEC Network. I'm taking the Hogs. Call the Hogs for Barry Switzer. Levi Draper and company. They'll do it for them against Georgia Southern. I've got no issue there. ESPN Plus, or ESPN2, I'm sorry. Or buddy the Leecher, Mike Leach, Mississippi State at Memphis. I'm taking the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. ACC Network, Northwestern at the Dukes. I'm taking the Blue Devils. The Stadium Network will have Ball State at Wyoming. I'm taking the Cowboys of Wyoming. ESPN2, Colorado State at Toledo. ESPNU, I'm taking the Rockets at Toledo. Finally, Pac-12 Network, Sacramento at Cal. Cal trying to be back since a 2-point heart-wrenching loss to TCU. I'm taking Berkeley in this one. 3:15, Arkansas State at Washington. Time to wash those last two games out of your mouth. And they will this week, I think. Pac-12 Network, 3:15. I'm taking Washington. It's the University of Washington, by the way. That's at 3:15. 4 o'clock, Mercer at Bowling Green, ESPN3. I'm taking Bowling Green. 5 o'clock, ESPN Plus will have Middle Tennessee State at Texas San Antonio. I'm taking UTSA. Our buddy Mike Stoops at Florida Atlantic. They will host Fordham. Fordham at FAU. ESPN3. I'm taking FAU. Finally, ESPN3.com will have Old DU. That's Old Dominion at Liberty. I'm taking Liberty. 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Here we go. South Carolina at Georgia. ESPN at 6. I'm taking Georgia. Utah at San Diego State. CBS Sports Network. I'm taking the Utah Utes. Charlotte at Georgia State. ESPN Plus. I'm taking Georgia State. Troy at Southern Miss. I'm taking Troy. That game, ESPN Plus for that one. ESPN Plus is also the Georgia State game. It's also the Grambling State at Houston game. Big 12 power, baby. Give me Houston. All those games, by the way, the Charlotte at Georgia State, Troy at Southern Miss, all on ESPN Plus. As is Grambling State at Houston, or Houston, as Sports Talk 1400's newest host Mike Steely would say. I'm taking the Cougs. ESPN Plus will finally have Florida Atlantic at South Florida. I'm taking South Florida. ESPN 3, though, does have one extra game here at the 6 o'clock docket on ESPN3.com. ICU, that's Incarnate Webb at TSU. That's Texas State University. I'm taking Texas State. Prime time, baby. 6:30. Virginia at OU's old buddy Mike Brown in North Carolina. That game's on the ACC network. I'm taking good old Matt Brown in North Carolina. Stony Brook at Oregon. Pac-12 network. First game back since knocking off top ranked Ohio State. Now they take on Stony Brook. They're not going to lose to Stony Brook after beating Ohio State. Particularly in Autzen, not going to happen. In fact, this thing could be a bloodbath. So give me Oregon. Plenty. Central Michigan at LSU. SEC Network. I'm taking the Bangling Tigers. Speaking of Tigers in the SEC, Auburn at Penn State. Prime time. A, B, C. Give me those Nittany Lions. Whiteout, I'm pretty sure is going to be that one. 3 more. Stadium Network will have Alabama Birmingham at Oral Buddy Seth Luttrell, the former Oklahoma fullback, now at North Texas. That game will be on the Stadium Network. I'm taking North Texas State. Fordham at North Carolina State. North Carolina State trying to bounce back after losing to Mississippi State. This game will be on ESPN3. I'm taking NC State. Fox Sports 2, finally. Utah State at Air Force, the battle for Utah. Just kidding. We all know that Air Force is in Colorado Springs. Give me Colorado Springs and South and Air Force. 7 o'clock, ESPN2, Tulane at Ole Miss or Mississippi. The Lane Train, baby. Give me Lane. Give me the Rebels of Mississippi. Stanford at Vanderbilt. ESPNU. You know, I was really impressed with what I saw from Stanford this week against USC. They're not as bad as Vanderbilt, and they're going to get them. This game's on ESPNU. ESPN3 has 2 games. Jackson State at Louisiana Monroe, ULM. I'm taking ULM. Alcorn State at South Alabama, also in ESPN3. I'm taking USA, University of South Alabama, that is. Final game of the 7 o'clock docket, South Carolina State at New Mexico State. On the Stadium Network, I'm taking the Cowboys, or Aggies, I guess they are, of New Mexico State. Pac-12 after dark. Plenty of these games. Like 9 o'clock. Northern Arizona at Arizona. Pac-12 Network. I'm taking Arizona. 9:15. Arizona State at Big 12. Future Big 12 newcomer Brigham Young and BYU. ESPN. I'm taking the Cougars of BYU. 9:45. Fresno State at UCLA. And that game's on the Pac-12 Network. Give me UCLA. Finally, San Jose State at Hawaii. This game was at 9 7:30 in the evening. Fox Sports 1. I'm kicking the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. My name's Harry James. You guys know the rest of this. These are just my picks. Who I think is going to win. I don't know who's going to win. So don't take these picks to Vegas. But if you do, I want some of the cheddar. Just kidding. Have fun in Vegas without me, guys. My name is Harry James. You can catch us in all my other videos on YouTube, Boomer Center 1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor. Or on the Twitter box at Hypeman Harry. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. And Boomer Center, everybody. I'm out of here. See ya. Peace.